It's a Saturday morning. You're scrolling through Instagram, maybe sipping that overpriced coffee we all pretend we can afford, and you see it. It's the ad. It's always the ad. A shiny, perfectly angled shot of a brand new SUV, parked in front of a modern house that definitely isn't included in the deal. The sunlight is hitting the grill just right. The text overlay is simple, almost too simple. Drive for $399 a month. And for a split second, your brain does that thing it does. It starts justifying. It starts saying, well, that's just my phone bill and a couple of dinners. I can totally do $399. You imagine pulling up to work. You imagine the new car smell. You imagine how much easier your life would be if you just had something reliable, something new, something that didn't make that weird clicking noise when you turn left. And honestly, I get it. The dopamine hit is real. We live in a culture that treats cars like extensions of our personalities, like mobile living rooms that signal to the world that we've made it. But here's the problem with that feeling. It's fleeting. It evaporates the second the first payment hits your bank account, and suddenly you're locked into a 3-year cycle of renting someone else's depreciating asset. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth while others stay stuck in the same financial patterns for decades. And when I look at the car industry, specifically the leasing game, I don't just see math. I see a brilliantly designed psychological trap. It's a trap that keeps the middle class looking wealthy on paper, but absolutely broke in reality. Because the difference between how a rich person approaches a car and how a broke person approaches one isn't just about the badge on the hood. It's about the math they're willing to ignore. Today, we're going to dig into that math, the psychology behind the Jack strategy of building wealth, and why that low monthly payment is actually the most expensive thing you'll ever agree to. So, let's talk about the allure of the lease. Why do we love it so much? It's simple, right? It's the monthly payment. The entire industry is built around training you to focus on one number and one number only, the monthly nut. If they can get that number low enough, you'll sign almost anything. You'll ignore the mileage limits. You'll ignore the wear and tear fees. You'll ignore the fact that you have to hand the keys back in 3 years with zero equity. I remember a few years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine. Let's call him Dave. Dave was a classic good income, bad balance sheet guy. He was making over 6 figures, but every time we hung out, he was stressed about cash flow. He pulls up to coffee in this brand new, fully loaded luxury truck. I mean, this thing had heated seats, heated steering wheel, a sunroof the size of a king bed, the works. Naturally, I had to ask. I said, Dave, this thing is nice. What's the damage? He grinned and said, oh man, I stole it. It's only $450 a month. See, that sounds like a win. In his head, he won. He negotiated the dealer down from a higher number to $450. He felt smart. But Dave isn't looking at the Jack strategy. He's looking at the now strategy. The Jack strategy. Building up your financial foundation so you can lift heavy things later. Requires you to look at the total cost of ownership, not just the monthly check. Because here's what Dave didn't tell me. To get that $450 payment, he had to put down $4,000 in drive-off fees. He was limited to 10,000 miles a year, which for a guy who likes to drive on weekends is a joke. And because he rolled negative equity from his last car into this lease, he was essentially paying off 2 cars at once while only driving one. That's the leasing trap in a nutshell. It's a perpetual state of debt. You are forever making a car payment. You start with one car, you lease it for 3 years, you turn it in, you lease another one. You do that for 10 years, and what do you have? You have 10 years of receipts and 0 assets. You've spent, $50,000, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. You're just renting your lifestyle. Let's contrast that with what the rich, or maybe I should say the wealth building, mindset looks like. I was reading this breakdown of how self-made millionaires actually treat their vehicles. It's boring. Like painfully boring. It's not the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris you see on YouTube. Most of them buy used. They buy reliable Hondas, Toyotas, maybe a slightly used domestic truck. And here's the kicker, they pay cash. Or if they finance, they pay it off aggressively, and then they drive the car for 7, 10, sometimes 15 years. There's this concept called opportunity cost that nobody talks about in the dealership showroom. Opportunity cost is basically what you could have done with that money if you hadn't spent it on the car. Let's do some rough math here, just to paint the picture. Let's say Dave's $450 a month lease, plus his insurance, which is usually higher on a leased car, plus gas. He's probably spending about $600, $700 a month total on that truck to keep it on the road. Now, imagine if Dave, instead of leasing that truck, bought a modest, used truck for $15,000. Maybe he finances it for 3 years. His payment might be $450 for 3 years, but then it's zero. Zero. Now apply the Jack strategy. Once that car is paid off, what does Dave do? Does he go trade it in for a more expensive one? No. He keeps driving the paid-off truck. And he takes that $450 he was spending and he invests it. He puts it into an index fund, a high-yield savings account, whatever. He just lets it compound. If you do that from age 30 to age 60, that $450 a month, assuming a modest 7% return, turns into over $500,000. I'm serious. Do the math. $450 a month for 30 years is roughly $550,000. So the question isn't, can I afford the $450 lease payment? The question is, can I afford to lose $550,000? Because that is literally the trade-off you are making. You are choosing the new car smell over a massive chunk of your retirement. You are choosing to look rich now at the expense of being rich later. That's the broke math. That's the trap. But wait, Jack, I hear you saying, leasing lets me drive a nicer car. If I buy, I'm stuck in a beater. I get that. I really do. There is a status component here. We want to fit in. We don't want to be the person driving the 2008 Civic when all our friends are in 2024 leases. But here's the thing about status. It's an illusion. Your friends don't care about your car as much as you think they do. And if they do, they aren't your friends. They're your competition. Let's talk about the hidden costs of leasing that dealerships love to gloss over. The wear and tear clause is a nightmare. I knew a guy, let's call him Mark, who leased a sedan. He thought he was being careful. But when he turned it in, they hit him with a $1,200 bill. Why? Because there was a scratch on the bumper that was deeper than a credit card, and the tires were worn down to 4/32 of an inch, which was apparently illegal by lease standards. He had to pay to fix a car he was giving back. It's like renting an apartment, getting charged to paint the walls, and then getting kicked out anyway. When you own a car, a scratch is a scratch. It's a character-building mark. You can leave it. You can fix it on your terms. You aren't beholden to some corporate checklist in a back office somewhere deciding your financial fate. There is a peace of mind that comes with ownership that you simply cannot lease. That peace of mind is part of the Jack strategy. It's the feeling of stability. It's the feeling that if things go south, if you lose your job, if the economy tanks, your car is yours. They can't come repossess it if you miss a payment for 3 months because you own it outright. That security is worth more than new car smell. I want to pivot a little bit here and talk about the psychology of always having a payment. There is a dangerous mental shift that happens when you lease. You start to view the car payment as a utility bill, like electricity or water. You just assume it will always be there. It becomes a fixed expense in your budget that never goes away. And once you accept that, your income effectively shrinks. If you make $5,000 a month, but $500 of that is permanently allocated to a car, you are really living on $4,500. You've capped your wealth-building potential before you even buy groceries. The wealthy mentality is to view the car payment as a temporary problem to be solved. You finance or buy, you pay it off, and then you enjoy the raise you just gave yourself. When you pay off a car, your cash flow instantly improves. You have more money to invest, more money to save, more money to spend on experiences rather than metal. I've paid off cars before, and I'm telling you, the month you send that final check in feels better than the month you drive a new car off the lot. It's a feeling of freedom. It's a weight off your chest. Now, let's address the counter-argument, because I want to be fair. Are there times when leasing makes sense? Sure. If you are a business owner and you can write off the lease payments as a business expense, the math changes. If you love technology and you genuinely want a new car every 3 years and you have the cash flow to support it without compromising your investments, then knock yourself out. But for 95% of the people watching this video, people trying to build a life, buy a house, maybe start a family, leasing is a wealth killer. There is a quote by Will Rogers that I love. He said, "Too many people spend money they haven't earned, to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like." That is the leasing industry's business model in a sentence. They are selling you approval. They are selling you the feeling that you are successful. But true success isn't about what you drive. It's about what you own. It's about your net worth. It's about the choices you have. Let's go back to the Jack strategy. Think of your finances like a house. You are building a foundation. Every dollar you spend on a depreciating asset like a leased car is like taking a brick out of your foundation and throwing it into the ocean. It's gone. Every dollar you save and invest is adding a brick, adding a floor, making the structure stronger. If you keep leasing, you're trying to build a house on sand. It looks pretty from the street, but the first storm that comes along, the first layoff, the first medical emergency, and the whole thing collapses. So what's the actionable advice here? What should you actually do? It's simple, but it's not easy. It requires patience. First, stop leasing. Just stop. Decide right now that the next car you get, you're going to own. Second, if you currently have a lease, start planning for the end. Don't just roll into a new one. Start saving a car replacement fund right now. Even if you're still making payments, start putting $100, $200 a month aside. When the lease is up, use that money plus the trade-in value, if you have any, to buy a used car. Maybe you have to step down in class. Maybe you go from a BMW to a Honda. So what? Swallow your pride. Third, once you own that car, drive it. Drive it until the wheels fall off. Change the oil. Rotate the tires. Treat it well. But stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are leasing their cars, and they have a net worth of zero. You don't want to be like the Joneses. You want to be like the quiet guy in the paid-off Tacoma who is silently banking $500 a month and building a real estate empire on the side. I was looking at some stats the other day, and the average car payment in America right now is creeping up towards $700 or $800 a month. That's insanity. That's a mortgage payment in some parts of the country. If you have an $800 car payment, you are voluntarily choosing to work an extra week or two every month just for your car. Is your car worth that much of your life? Is the status symbol worth trading away your time? Because time, unlike money, you can never get back. The rich versus broke math isn't just about spreadsheets. It's about values. The broke mindset prioritizes appearance over substance. It prioritizes the now over the future. The rich mindset prioritizes freedom and options. They drive nice cars, sure, but they usually pay for them with dividends or passive income. They don't trade their time for a car payment. They let their money work for them so they can drive whatever they want guilt-free. When I talk about the Jack strategy, I'm talking about lifting heavy weights later. You can't lift heavy weights if your core is weak. A car lease is a weak core. It's a vulnerability. It's a monthly obligation that limits your movement. When you own your car is strong. You have flexibility. You can take risks. You can quit that job you hate. You can start that business. You aren't terrified of missing a payment because there is no payment. Let me tell you a quick story about my own journey with cars. Years ago, I bought a car I couldn't afford. I was young, I got my first real job, and I went straight to the dealership. I financed a $35,000 car. I thought I was king of the road. For about 3 weeks, it felt amazing. Then the reality set in. The insurance bill came. The gas bill came because it was a V8 and drank fuel like water. And every month, seeing that $600 withdrawal from my checking account made me physically anxious. I couldn't sleep. I was stressing about money while sitting in a leather seat. I ended up selling that car 2 years later at a massive loss. I bought a used economy car for cash. It wasn't sexy. It had dings. It had 80,000 miles on it. But man, the stress just vanished. It was like a physical weight was lifted off my shoulders. I started taking that $600 a month and putting it into the market. Fast forward 10 years, and that little unsexy decision allowed me to put a down payment on my first house. That decision to drive a boring car literally changed the trajectory of my life. That's the power of the math. We need to reframe how we look at cars. A car is a tool. That's it. It's a machine to get you from point A to point B safely. It is not a reflection of your worth as a human being. If someone judges you because you drive a 10-year-old Honda, that's a reflection of their character, not yours. They are trapped in the matrix. They are the ones paying the stupid tax to the leasing companies. Think about the car dealerships. They're businesses. They exist to make money. They aren't leasing you cars because they are nice guys. They lease you cars because it is the most profitable way for them to sell a vehicle. They get the car back, they sell it as a used car, and they lease you another one. They win twice. You lose. Every time you sign a lease, you are voluntarily walking into a rigged game where the house always wins. Stop playing the game. Flip the board. Walk away. So, where do you go from here? If you're currently in a lease, don't beat yourself up. You made a decision based on the information you had or the feelings you had at the time. That's okay. But now you have new information. Now you see the math. You can't unsee it. When your lease is up, take that exit strategy. Buy the car if the residual value makes sense, or better yet, turn it in and buy something used and affordable. Take the difference between your old lease payment and your new lower cost or zero cost and invest it. Watch it grow. Implement the Jack strategy in every area of your life. Look at your phone bill, your subscriptions, your dining out habits. Are you renting your lifestyle, or are you building equity? Are you prioritizing the look or the life? It's a shift in perspective that takes time, but it starts with the big ticket items, and cars are usually the biggest one besides housing. We've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the dopamine hit of the new car smell, the trap of the low monthly payment, the opportunity cost of losing hundreds of thousands in potential wealth, and the freedom that comes with ownership. The core message is simple. Stop renting your life. Start owning it. The rich versus broke car math is brutal. The broke person pays forever and has nothing. The wealthy person pays for a short time, owns the asset, and uses the freed-up cash flow to buy their freedom. The car is just a tool. The money is the fuel for your actual life. So, the next time you see that ad for the $399 lease payment, or the next time you walk past a dealership and feel that tug to go inside and just look, I want you to pause. I want you to remember the $550,000. I want you to remember the Jack strategy. Ask yourself, do I want to look rich or do I want to be free? Because you can't have both. You have to choose. Building wealth isn't about getting a massive overnight windfall. It isn't about winning the lottery. It's about 1,000 small, boring, disciplined decisions made over a long period of time. Deciding to break the leasing cycle is one of the most powerful, high-impact decisions you can make. It's a declaration that you are done playing the victim to your own impulses. It's the moment you decide to be the architect of your own future. Go look at your car. Is it a tool or is it a master? If it's a master, it's time to make a change. Start planning your escape today. It might not be fun today. It might feel like a step down. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're looking at a brokerage account that's flush with cash because you didn't give it all to a car dealership, you will thank yourself. Your future self is begging you to make the right choice. Don't let them down. Thanks for hanging out with me and diving into the numbers. I know it's not always fun to hear about opportunity costs and depreciation, but ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Facing it head on is the only way to win. If this video helped shift your perspective even a little bit, or if you know someone who is currently trapped in the leasing cycle and needs a reality check, send it to them. Let's help as many people as possible opt out of the broke math and opt into freedom. Until next time, keep building, keep saving, and for the love of your net worth, stop leasing.